After 25 years, MotoGP returned to Indonesia, and whilst the rain seemingly wanted to make it a 26-year wait for the Indonesian fans, racing eventually managed to begin for a 20-lap wet showdown. So let's take a look at 5 things we learned from the Indonesian Grand Prix. Before I get started with this video, I'd like to remind you to subscribe and hit the notification button if you've been enjoying this content. I've got plenty more coming that I'm sure you won't want to miss out on, so subscribe and hit that notification button. Marc's massive high side. Rear tyre grip was a struggle for the 8 times world champion all weekend. Marc had multiple crashes that eventually led to him having a huge high side in warm-up practice before the race. Whilst Marc managed to walk away from this incident, he did suffer a concussion, which left him out of the Indonesian Grand Prix. All of this means that Marc might not compete in the Argentinian round in a couple of weeks' time, since we know his previous concussion left him out for 2 races. With these continuous crashes being a theme of his recent return to MotoGP and more injuries mounting, we have to start questioning whether Marc will continue racing for the future if he keeps getting hurt like this. Mandalika tyre troubles. In its first outing as a MotoGP circuit, the Mandalika street circuit certainly proved itself. We got incredible saves, pretty good racing, and some mixed conditions as well. However, in the future there are some tyre concerns as the Michelin tyres were overheating throughout the entirety of the weekend, and this led to the shortened race that we saw. In the future, Michelin is going to have to bring a tyre compound that is capable of holding up to the incredible heat that we saw over the weekend, and is actually able to give all of the manufacturers more equal grip, as we saw the Suzuki's and the Hondas particularly disadvantaged by the 2019 tyre that they bought for this race. Bagnaia's bad start continues. Bagnaia's bad start to the 2022 season continued as the Italian fell from his qualifying position of 6th down to 15th in the race. This means that the man who was likely going to be a championship contender has gotten a grand total of 1 point across the first 2 rounds of the MotoGP season, and this seems to make his title challenge more and more unlikely, particularly if this bad form continues. You have to wonder if Bagnaia's confidence will be knocked by this lackluster first couple of rounds. Fabio, the Flying Frenchman. Fabio Quartararo normally struggles in wet weather conditions, and this trend seemed to continue at the start of the Indonesian Grand Prix. However, after falling back down to 6th, Fabio managed to find his confidence in the rain and started climbing back through the field, ending up in 2nd place. It was a particularly impressive result given his previous struggles in the wet. And so this means that his championship defence has finally begun after that lackluster result in Qatar. Miguel Masters Mandalika. Miguel Oliveira lined up on the grid in 7th place and launched himself forward into an impressive 2nd place. After he overtook Miller with 16 laps to go, Miguel had no pressure on him. He never looked back and ended up taking the win. In fact, the only time that he was ever pressured was Fabio Quartararo in the later stages trying to hunt him down. However, Miguel managed to hold on to the lead pretty easily, maintaining a roughly 3-second gap to the 2021 world champion. It's an impressive return to form for someone who was struggling in the latter part of the 2021 season, as Miguel now regains his confidence with this win and will hopefully continue to get podiums and wins throughout the rest of the season. He's someone more than capable of challenging for a title, and we could see 2 KTMs up in the top few places of the championship this year. Manufacturer Roundup. With 2 podiums in the first 2 rounds, KTM becomes the team to catch as they lead the Constructors' Championship. It shows that the manufacturer is ready to fight for Constructors' Championships, and if their riders can stay consistent and the bike can maintain this level of form, I have no doubt that they'll be fighting up the top end in each race. The Tech 3 boys didn't do so well, as Remy Gardner finished last and Raul Fernandez finished in 17th place. Suzuki had a difficult weekend as Rins began sick and then had his bike catch on fire in one of the practice sessions. Whilst this was going on, Mir was struggling with rear tyre grip issues that led to him qualifying down in 18th place. The race did get better for the boys in blue, as they ended up coming to a 5th and 6th position with Alex leading Mir, an impressive result particularly for Mir as he gained 12 places throughout the race. Yamaha had a solid weekend as Fabio got on the podium whilst Franco Morbidelli managed a 7th place. It's good points for the boys in blue, and after a weekend where they managed to dominate most of the practice sessions, it shows that there is still pace in that bike at the right kind of track. The RNF Yamaha team had an interesting weekend as well, as Darren Binder showed what he was made of, whilst Andrea Dovizioso suffered a technical fault during the race that left him out. The Aprilia boys continue to be split as Viñales struggled throughout the weekend, qualifying in 20th, finishing in 16th, and yet to score points this season. All of this whilst Aleix managed to qualify in the top 10 and finish 9th. Aleix is proving that there is pace in that Aprilia bike, however Viñales is yet to find it. Ducati had some positives and some negatives this weekend. Zarco and Miller showed their wet weather prowess, whilst Bagnaia and Martin struggled, with Bagnaia plummeting down the order and Martin crashing out. The two rookie Ducati riders, Fabio Di Giannantonio and Marco Bezzecchi, impressed in qualifying as they qualified 11th and 13th respectively. However, during the race, both riders fell down the order due to their lack of wet weather experience. In a similar vein, Luca Marini qualified in 12th place and slipped to 14th. Probably due to his increased experience, he managed to hold off the riders behind a little bit better. Enea Bastianini was initially starting in 5th place on the grid, however fell down due to a lack of wet weather pace and experience. However, later on in the race he managed to find that pace, but it was too late for him to feature in the race itself. He finished in 11th place. Honda was struggling with rear grip all weekend, leading to Marc Marquez's enormous high side and Pol Espargaro qualifying well down the order. The LCR boys struggled with similar issues, and this led to all of the Hondas finishing outside of the top 10, or in the case of Marc Marquez, not even competing. Rider of the Weekend. Darren Binder absolutely deserves the Rider of the Weekend trophy. He had an amazing race, finishing in 10th place, and considering it was only his second ever race in MotoGP, that result is just truly incredible. The RNF rider also has had no experience on a MotoGP bike in the wet, and has had no time in Moto2 to experience even a step up in power over his Moto3 bike. And so for him to finish in 10th place in a race where all of the other rookies kind of fell back is truly incredible. It would have also been in 8th place if Brad hadn't sent that move up the inside and caused Darren to kind of lose a few positions. So absolutely deserving, and Darren has proved me wrong because I was not sure if he was deserving of a MotoGP seat. Struggle of the Weekend. The Struggle of the Weekend award certainly has to go to Pecco Bagnaia. It was a difficult weekend for the Italian as he ended up down in 15th place, scoring only 1 point. It means that his championship challenge is becoming more and more unlikely, and he'll have to get some excellent results over the next few rounds if he wants to end up winning this 2022 title. Alright, that's another What We Learnt video done. What did you think of the Indonesian Grand Prix? How did you rate it? There's a little community poll that I've put in my community tab if you want to go and vote in that over there. Comment if you think I missed anything. And yeah, who was your rider of the weekend, struggle of the weekend? Do you agree with me? And if you haven't subscribed or hit the bell notification thing, please do that. We're trying to grow a little MotoGP community here on YouTube, and I hope that we can, reach the goal of 1,000 subscribers in a month's time or something like that. We'll see how it goes. I really want to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.